Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the season 10 of Big Brother Pokemon live jury question and answer. Dana, Duncan, and Quillen are all here. They've made it to the final three out of 24 people this season. And hopefully, tonight or tomorrow, one of them will be crowned the 10th winner of Big Brother Pokemon. So it's really cool. Tonight, we're going to be doing our live Q&A. So we're going to start off with some opening statements from each of them. And then we're going to go into question and answer with the jurors who are going to attend. And then we'll finish with, excuse me, we're going to finish with a closing statement from each of them. So, jurors, if you're watching this, we ask that we sent the order to you in the order that you guys are going to be going to you. So, the people before you, it would really be great if you guys could watch their questions so that you don't repeat questions. If you repeat a question, I'm going to tell you to go back and watch someone else's response so that we're not hearing the same thing over and over. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and begin with our opening statements. But first of all, congratulations to the three of you for making it here. But we'll start with Dana's opening statement. So Dana, the floor is yours.
Hey guys, it's been a pretty intense game in a lot of different ways. There've been a lot of fights, but I also made some really great friends. Can you hear me? I don't know. Okay. So I'm happy to have played even when it got stressful. I guess I have a couple things that I'd like to highlight about my game, and then, but I really do want to hear whatever questions you have. Anything you need to hear from me to want to vote for me at the end of tonight is something I'm totally open to talking about, no matter how difficult or stressful it might be. So I guess I'll just go on to my own analysis of my game. I have four things that I wanted to quickly mention. The first one is consistency. I think I played a really consistent game all the way through. I played really hard the entire time. And I think that should matter because that made me a very visible threat throughout this entire game. It made most of you want to vote me out. And I had to sort of overcome those odds to be here tonight. I think that I worked really hard is my second point. I was really persuasive when I had to be. I worked my connections when I had to. I won competitions that required me to make hard decisions. And all of those are some things that I think give me a leg up tonight over my competitors. The third thing I wanted to mention is that I really had to do a lot of prioritizing during this game. I had allies that didn't like each other. I was working with almost everyone in the game at one point, and there were a lot of times where I had to prioritize different groups of people strategically in order to get to this point. And then the final, and I think most important point that I wanted to make is that I made incredibly strategic alliances. I had my closest allies, which, as most of you know, were Connor and Nicholas. And then I also had Kate and Quillen on the other side. And by working those connections and the tertiary connections that those groups of people had, I was able to make sure that I was never voted out, even though I was a target the entire game. And I was able to make sure that I was sitting here tonight because of those connections and also through my own hard work. So, like I said, ask me any questions you want, but that's kind of my analysis of my own game.
Okay, thank you, Dana. Now we're going to move on to Duncan. The floor is all yours.
Okay, I'm not as organized. I have a little speech because I can't just talk off the top of my head. First of all, thank you all for being a part of the game that we played. It's been a long ass game. Thanks, Nicholas, for a 24-person cast. And I'll just start with my speech about why I think that I might deserve your vote. I was able to bounce back from being an original nominee week 1. I put some freaking work into my social game, enabling me to stay during the first eviction and keep my head low for the beginning weeks of the game. That's the type of game that I play. I have to play low because I can't win comps to save my life. I only was able to win. I won 4 this season, which is double what I won last time. I won 2 earlier on in the game. No, I won 1 veto earlier on in the game, and the others were more during the jury stages of the game. I made the correct connections early on that proved to be paying off later down the road, such as Dana, Blake, Shoaib, and Kate. Around the Adrian and Michael votes, I realized I was setting myself up to not be a threat during the beginning stages of jury, which is what I wanted to do. And like I said, I can't win a lot of comps, so I wanted to make myself likable enough to enough people to stay safe and make it deep into jury. I think that... Sorry, that's my roommate. Anyways, losing Shoaib allowed me to play with nothing but my own life to lose. Putting up the game. Sorry. Anyways, when I won HOH, I put up the 2 biggest threats in the game on the block, getting 1 out successfully. Surviving Live Night and then winning comps to secure my spot in the final 3 was a big accomplishment for me. And getting to the end with Quillen, which is something I've been planning to do since around final 10, 11, was really awesome for me. And getting to the end with her showed that renominating Nicholas during that week was the right move, and it really paid off. As the last old school player, I hope I can answer any questions y'all may have to show you I deserve to be the winner of this season. And that sounded really busted, so I really look forward to any questions that you might have. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thanks, Duncan. Quill, you're up next.
Hi. Hi again. I hate doing these. So I just wanted to say, basically, I came into this thinking that I was totally fucked. And then especially when I saw like the cast, I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna win. And I just started working like my job after graduating, and I was like, a live fucking season. I'm never gonna be here for anything. So I had to kind of regroup how I would normally play. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be physically active in competitions. I knew that I probably wasn't even going to be able to be like as socially active as I normally am. So I wanted to play strategically. So I used like probably the smartest strategy used by amazing winners like Dr. Will and Victoria Raffaelli, like the floater strategy. So I wanted to make sure that I had all my bases covered at every point in the game, and that I was making allies that I could trust for, you know, fragments of time in the game, but also knew when the right time to switch it up would be. I also didn't really have much prepared to say for this. And I'm just looking forward to getting your questions, and then hopefully I can answer, you know, more like specific things about my game. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you to the 3 of you. Now we're going to start with the jury Q&A portion. So our first juror is Nathan, and he should be on his way. So yeah, it's exciting. So to make these like transitions less boring and awkward, like I'll just pop some fun and flirty questions at you guys that aren't game related. So what did you, transitions less boring. Okay, hi Nathan. I'll just pop some fun and flirty questions at you guys. Nathan, you're playing the stream back.
I know. I just deleted it. Don't worry.
Okay. All right, the floor is all yours. Go ahead.
Okay. So I got it all set up, so don't worry. Okay. So before I begin, I just want to congratulate my fellow Unova alumni representing the best season of BB Pokemon perfectly. So congrats to that. The jury is completely split with the vote tonight. Some have their votes locked. Others, like me, are waiting to hear your reasonings for winning. So first, Duncan, I'm not going to waste my breath giving you any sort of acknowledgement tonight. Congrats on being a GOAT. Bah. Sorry. Bye. Okay, so Dana. I think most of the jury can agree that your gameplay was stellar throughout the season. It was very consistent, smart, and strategic. However, you forgot to calculate one thing into your master gameplay, and that was jury management. Connections are everything, and during your game, you stayed confined to your clique, unwilling to really branch out to work with others. This then continued after each jury member was evicted. You lacked the energy or time to send many of us goodbye messages, a vital part in allowing the jury to see your reasoning for evicting us. You may always be an all-star player, but your road to playing a flawless game this season had a major flaw, and there's a great chance it could ultimately be your demise tonight. And then lastly, Quill. Okay. The jury has developed a huge fan base in favor of you winning after discussing your silent but very effective gameplay. You may have laid low during the first half of the game, but when jury hit, your gameplay definitely did not go unnoticed by the jurors. Will, you put in the time to create relationships all around the house, and your jury management was flawless. And most of all, your gameplay was, in my opinion, brilliant. However, the one thing that's holding me back from giving you my vote is how lackluster your game was during the beginning stages. If it wasn't for your relationship with Dana, I truly don't know if you would be sitting where you are right now. So while your gameplay was great, you didn't get here through adversity. You got here through Dana. And I want to reward the player. So it's hard because I don't know if I want to reward the player with terrible jury management, but played a fantastic game, or a player who had great jury management, but was dragged halfway through the game. Okay, and so then I just have two questions. Duncan, no questions for you. So Dana, you voted to evict Owen last week, which left the jury completely dumbfounded. By bringing Quill with you, your chances of winning plummeted significantly. Was it a cocky move on your part, or just another flaw in your gameplay?
Sure. So I think that I didn't claim to play a perfect game. I know I didn't send any jury, I don't know what they're called. I can't remember the name for them, but I know I didn't send any of those. And that was, hi Nathan, and that was totally a flaw on my part. And that wasn't anything personal. That wasn't anything about like me not caring about relationships. It literally came down to like, I started graduate school last like a week and a half ago. And that was something that in order for me to stay in the game had to fall by the wayside. I had hoped that relationships I built during the game would carry me through. So I knew that I was going to get asked about Owen, so I prepared 4 reasons why I evicted Owen over Quillen. So obviously coming into tonight, I knew that Lockie and Kate were going to vote for Quillen no matter what. That was something that was going to be true for me at least, and from what Quillen's own opinion of the situation is, no matter what happened. So I knew that there were 2 votes locked there. But if I kept Owen, there were also 2 votes locked on the other side. I did not have a shot at getting Shoaib and Anthony's votes if Owen was still in the game. Shoaib was Owen's closest ally, and Anthony and Lynn were people that Owen told me that he felt really close with, and they were people, especially towards the end of the game, I felt less close with. So Owen had the relationships with people on the jury that I didn't have at all. And that meant that I didn't have those relationships playing with them in other seasons. That meant that I didn't have relationships with them in this game to the extent that I would have liked to. And so that was one reason I evicted him. Another reason I evicted Owen was because I think he's an incredibly persuasive speaker. And when I know I didn't play my best game at every turn, I think me being persuasive is something that's going to stand out tonight, hopefully. And I wanted to give myself the upper hand there. I've seen Owen be persuasive in other final tribals. Owen just came off of winning 2 other games back to back. And more importantly, I saw Owen's own relationship with you when he was able to convince you to vote to evict Kate when you guys had literally no game relationship. So for me, it was important that I wasn't taking somebody who I thought was too persuasive to the end. Finally, I knew Owen would likely be somebody who would advocate for me on jury, or who at least saw the merits in my game, because I did play pretty closely with him. And again, the votes that I saw locked for Quillen tonight were votes that I didn't feel like I had access to, whether or not I took Quillen to the end. So if I didn't take Quillen, I didn't think that Kate and Lockie were going to vote for me anyway, and maybe a couple of other people. So I didn't think that that was going to be to my detriment, but I had to do what I could to play out my strengths.
Okay. And so then Quill, I need to know what moves you made yourself that give me a reason to vote for you to win tonight. Like, what was your defining like game move that you did besides floating?
I think floating's good. No, I think my biggest move was in Live Night when I voted to evict Kate. So Lynn had told me before the vote that she was going to keep Kate, and I still chose to evict her because I knew, I mean, I had a good feeling Kate was going to win if she got to the end. I also knew if I kept her there, she would have a good chance of getting to the end. And although I do love Kate and I would have liked to be sitting next to her in the end, I know I would have lost to her. So voting to our victor in that point also gained trust back with me and Dana, and me and Owen, and me and Dana had just kind of had a little fight, and we weren't really trusting each other in the game anymore. So voting to evict Kate, it was like the right time to flip, and I think that's what secured my place in the final 3 tonight.
Okay, I agree. Okay, so thank you, jurors. Univo, represent forever. I love you all, and good luck tonight to both of you. Mainly just Quill and Dana. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks, Nathan. All right, I'm about to send the link to Lockie. He is obviously our next juror. Yeah.
Give us a fun question.
Oh, wow. So what was each of your favorite moments of this game?
Mine was what? Mine was when Nathan sent the lip sync video of Sober for 2 deep pops. That was fun. I love Nathan. For 2 deep pops. Hello.
Ew, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Nathan kind of stole my question, so I have to like think of some on the fly real quick. But I guess I'll start with Dana and Colin kind of. It's kind of a question for both of you. So obviously, like we're not done. We knew we were all gonna be in this season together, and with Kate. And I just want to kind of ask why. Like I feel like we could have easily had a good relationship, the 4 of us. But I want to kind of ask why neither of you kind of took the most of that opportunity and spoke to me that much. Like you both kind of just didn't message me the whole time. Like it was like we knew we were there. We knew we could work for each other, but neither of you ever messaged me. Like up until 1H2H, and then once that happened, you never messaged me again.
Can I answer this one first?
Yeah.
Okay, and I feel like it's probably going to be the same for Dana or similar, is at the beginning of the game, I had heard, I believe Dana had heard too, that you were coming after us from Kate. So hearing that is why at the beginning of the game, I thought you were just going to want to take me and Dana out just because you thought we were going to be threats later on. So there was like a lot of, I think, miscommunication at the beginning of the game where I thought you wanted me out and I didn't want to like talk to you that much in the beginning of the game because I thought you were targeting me. And I think that's the best I can explain it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was definitely a factor for me, is like Kate and I obviously didn't start out on a great foot. So that put me in a weird situation with you. After she had already told me that you wanted me out, I was like, well, now he's definitely not going to want to work with me. But I think that on top of that for me, like something that I know I've said to Kate before and something that definitely came up for me like throughout the game was like, I just didn't know if you like wanted to be PM'd. And I know that that sounds like a weird thing to say, but like I didn't want to like bother you to have to PM me back if you like just genuinely weren't interested in like talking, because like I knew that I wasn't going to nominate you early on in the game. Like I knew that you had me until jury and that I had you until jury. So like for me, I like, even when you won HOH, I asked Kate, I was like, should I message him? Like, would that be a good thing to do? And I should not, like, in retrospect, have let like Kate serve as a barrier or like serve as like the carrier pigeon between the two of us. But I just didn't want to like handle my relationship with you poorly when I wasn't sure like what your expectations of like PMs and communication were.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess I should think of something for Duncan, but like Duncan, okay, I'll just think of something. I just want to say, I guess, congrats on never being voted out to you and Quill. That's pretty iconic. Shame that you're probably going to get a placement worse than before, but that's okay. Third place is still cute. I just want to say, what do you think like your best move was this season, Duncan? Because I feel like a lot of the jury don't really know anything that you've done this whole season.
Okay. I feel like the best thing I did all season was probably just under my HOH reign. I would say like making allies with the right people, but like that's not really a definitive point in time, I guess. Like I was the only person all season to put up Dana under my HOH. I feel like during the beginning of the game, I lacked game awareness, but that became more crystal clear towards the end. And that's why I was able to make the most of my week. And I feel like I changed the game dramatically during that week by putting them up. I think Blake said he would have done the same thing, but I don't know if anyone else would have done the same thing that week. And I think it really shifted the direction of where the game was going.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I guess Quill, I guess I have another one for you. If you had won the final four veto, would you have cut Dana or would you have also done okay, cool.
No, I absolutely would have cut Dana, and I already told her that. Like while the competition was going on, I feel like everyone kind of knew where everyone stood with that. It wasn't a secret to me that my biggest threat in the end of this game, sitting next, like to have someone sitting next to me, was Dana. And I think the issue is, I think I also was her biggest threat, and she just didn't cut me. She took me to the end. But I still understand her points on why she cut Owen. I just think if I was in her position, I would have done something differently.
Okay. Wait, I was gonna say something else, but I so totally forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Fuck. I cannot remember what I was gonna say, but I just want to say, like, I know Dana did just say to Nathan, like, she thinks my vote's kind of unlocked for Quill. And like, yes, I do love Quill, but I am, listening to everything all three of you say. So like, don't think I'm just gonna vote for Quill because I like Quill the most out of the three of you. Because like, I don't want people to think that. And like, I have been very vocal in the jury about like me not being Dana's biggest fan, but like, I am still very open-minded to vote for whoever. Like, I don't want people to think, oh, I didn't talk to you, so I'm not gonna vote for you. Like, yeah, I don't think I have any more questions because Nathan used up all the good questions. But
okay.
Yeah, good luck,
Thank you very much, Lockie.
Bye.
Peace. Okay, so now Connor isn't here, so we're gonna move on to Nicholas. Gonna go ahead and send him the link. So Dana and Duncan, you guys didn't say your funniest moment. Come on.
My favorite moment was when I made a meme out of Anthony Eats, which was a continual process that happened throughout the whole game. Because I love Anthony Eats. That's all I have to say.
All right. Hi, Nicholas. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a lot to say, so everyone settle in. Also, I'm very sick, so if I sound disgusting, I'm really sorry. I want to start everything off with an apology to the people I was an asshole to. I've been very competitive and very stubborn since I was really young, and that applies to these games. So when things don't go my way, I kind of turn into a brat. I was worse to some than others, but I was really rude and evil to a handful of you, and I just want to say I'm sorry. A lot of you probably don't care, and I don't mind. I'm not someone who's always needed someone to be liked by everyone. It doesn't bother me. I've learned that I have a personality people either love or absolutely hate, but I wouldn't trade my personality for anything. So I am really sorry, because I realized after getting evicted, it's just a game, and I shouldn't have butchered relationships that I didn't want to. That being said, I can finally get into addressing you three. Quill and Dana, I have nothing but love for both of you. So anything I say is not personal because it is just a game. Duncan, I'm not probably going to address you just because I don't have anything to say. So I'm one of the very few people that has been a part of this series since the first season. Even before that, when it was being planned, there's not many people who can actually say that. So that being said, this series as a whole means a lot to me. With it meaning a lot to me, I want to see the best players win and have the winner be someone who could be the face of the season and represent it well. Quill, I honestly don't believe that you are that person. I think your game was good, but sitting next to Dana, it feels kind of lackluster to me. And it's very disappointing watching multiple people completely discredit what Dana did. I think when you look at the narrative of bots as a whole, Dana is the only person who consistently was an important and powerful player through the entire story of the season. Pretty much every week, I feel like she did something, and she's the only name that pops up repeatedly in the story of bots from beginning to end. Quill, I don't think you have that same presence, and this isn't an insult. I think you know, in most regards, your game probably doesn't match up to Dana's. And y'all can say this is because I'm friends with Dana, and while I do have so much love for her, my vote and opinion transcends that. Dana played her heart out and played such an amazing game, and Quill, I truthfully don't know like if you did the same things Dana did. I also think it's kind of hypocritical for the majority of the jury to call Dana a threat since almost day one and then completely discredit her and act like she didn't do what she did. This sounds dramatic, but when I see a jury of people that say they love this game and love this series and then hold some of the opinions they do about this final three, I'm really disappointed. I think it's demeaning to Nicholas, someone who works harder than any host I've ever seen, someone who I know wants the best player to win. I think it's extremely insulting to Dana, someone who I think worked harder than anyone else in this game. And I have a huge ass ego, so that's hard for me to say, but like she did. And that's the truth. And I think it's demeaning to the series as a whole, the series that we all love and agreed to play again. And it just disappointed with the jury as a whole. And Quill, I don't want you to think this is a drag to your game. I think you played really well, and you were always second in line for my vote. There's no scenario where I truly think that your game outweighs Dana's, and I don't think your game compared to Dana's is deserving to win. I feel like you were checked out for a majority of this game, and that's fine. Shit happens. I dealt with my own personal issues that had me checked out, but I want to vote for the person as a juror who was the most dedicated, who played the best, and who was all around most focused. And I think Dana checks all those boxes. And I actually do have a question, and it's for Quill, and I want a truthful answer because the amount of people I'm disappointed in and the people that are disappointing me, I don't want to add you to that list. And I want to know, do you truthfully think that you deserve to win this game against Dana? Do you truthfully think you played a stronger and better game than she did? Or do you think you're in a position to win just because you ended up having a few more friends than she did? And none of this was a drag to you or anyone. I'm not trying to be like iconic. It was me voicing my concerns and my disappointment as a juror, as a player, and someone who loves this game.
I'm not going to discredit Dana's game at all. I mean, I already said that if I won Final Four veto, I was going to cut Dana because I know what a threat she is to win. I know the game that she played. I played closely with her through a lot of this game. So I obviously know that if she wins tonight, she is going to be a really deserving winner. With that being said, I don't think I don't deserve to win tonight either. I'm not gonna say like my game was better than Dana's. I'm not gonna say her game was better than mine because we both played different games. Hers was definitely a lot more visual, I guess. Like you could definitely see a lot of things that she was doing. But I feel like I had to play a little sneakier. I had to play. You know, I just felt like she, as big of a threat as Dana was throughout this game, there were a lot of points where she would have been safer than I was, even being a target. So yeah, I'm not going to say that I deserved, like, that my game was better, but I definitely don't think it was worse. I think it was just different games, and it depends what aspects of the game that you're basing your vote on should determine who you think should win. Okay. Either way, like, if I win, I'm going to be extremely happy. If Dana wins, I'm going to be extremely happy for her too. Even if Duncan won, I'd be happy for Duncan. I love Duncan. I feel like he's getting a little bit shit on, like, a little bit too much tonight, because I think he should still be getting more credit because he is here in the end with us too.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for your answer. I appreciate it a lot. And again, I'm not trying to shit on you for the game you played because I think we played pretty similar games for the most part. Like I floated for the first majority of the game. Yeah, that's it. I love all of you. I love everyone on the jury. And this wasn't like supposed to be rude. It was just me voicing my opinion. So thank you guys. Good luck to all three of you.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicholas. Okay, so Connor actually is here, so he's going to be joining now.
Can I say something really quickly?
Go for it.
Okay, so even if you're not considering me, whatever, Dana reminded me of something that I had said like almost a year ago, a couple like months ago, when comparing the finalist games, be considerate of who was able to play what type of game with what cards they were dealt. Kind of like Quill and Dana played very different games. If I was voting, I wouldn't know who I would vote for. Yeah, I'd probably listen to what they had to say at the end. Hi, Connor. And just be considerate of the different games people are able to play and not just focus on flashy things, but do take both into consideration. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thanks, Duncan. Connor, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have my questions written down earlier, but I lost them. But I'll try to remember them. So my first question is to Dana. So Dana, I had a question. So throughout the game, you, me, and Nicholas obviously worked together very closely throughout the entire game. I want to know if we really were your core alliance or if that was all a ploy for you and you actually had closer allies such as like Quill or Kate that I might have not known about.
You guys were definitely my closest allies. Like the only person I was 100% honest with was actually you. I was not honest with Quillen the whole time. Quillen was not honest with me the whole time. And that was something that I didn't necessarily anticipate, but like I tried to be really flexible with new relationships. And like I knew that you were super strategic and I knew that I was really strategic and I knew that we were gonna be a powerhouse if we were able to team up. And so like, can I say that I would have taken you to a final two? No. But like, were you my real ally? Like, absolutely, like 100%. I told you more than I told Kate, more than I told Quillen, anybody.
Okay, thank you. That answered my question. Next up, Quill. So Quill, your question for me is, so I know that you mentioned in your goodbye message that you really, it seemed like you really wanted to push the idea that you did a lot in the game, which I didn't not believe or believe. I didn't really know anything about your game. So I want to give you the opportunity to speak about what you really did in the game, especially since I missed like half this live stream already. So that'd be really great if you could just update me about what you really did in the game, because I genuinely don't know.
Okay. Well, like I said before, I came into this game knowing that I was gonna have to play like a floater throughout the beginning, especially. And I was really worried coming into this game that I wasn't gonna do well at all. And I got lucky with making allies with you and Dana. And I know that because like that could be because Dana had allies already. So maybe I was brought into that. I don't know. I know that like I got lucky at the beginning because I was able to make those allies, but I also I don't know, I tried like making friendships with people early on just to try to have all my bases covered to make sure that I wasn't ever targeted pre-jury. I also, I don't know, I feel like I want to take credit for the Madison going home because of the rumor, just because I really wanted Madison out of this game because I couldn't trust her. So I'd say this would be like pre-jury, the biggest move I'd say that I kind of had influence over. I heard through Dana that she heard through Nicholas about how the winners were asked back but couldn't do it. So I decided to try to push to certain people, like Kate and I believe Nathan, even that she was actually a catfish and that twist was happening for Kalos. And then Jacob Gibson kind of set that off whenever he fell for her trolling. And that whole catfish rumor took off. And then after that, coming into jury, I don't know if I want to like break down like everything I did, but I felt on the bottom of like whatever alliances that I was in. So I just wanted to stay aware of my placements and what I thought my allies thought of me at all times. And a big thing was with Duncan's head of household. And I saw you pick Nicholas for veto, and I like that kind of set my placement there. I was like, hey, I know I can't work with these people anymore as much as like as strongly as I like wanted to be working with you. I couldn't be. So that's when I really wanted to jump ship there. And obviously with you guys campaigning to get me as the renom, I knew that like I was at the bottom, that you'd wanted me out of the game before Nicholas, which is fine. Like I know I didn't have like a real connection, like one-on-one, because like again I've been busy this season, so like I haven't been around to be as social as I wanted to be. But like when things like that happened, I mean, like Duncan became like my number one ally in that moment. Like Duncan became like the number one person I wanted to go to the end with whenever he didn't renominate me, and we had that call. And yeah, so basically I'm gonna stop talking because I know this is probably really boring. I'm just rambling, but yeah, I guess just knowing when to bail and just knowing what moves to make, who to evict at what times. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I didn't really have a question prepared for Duncan. I'm sorry, but I'll try to think of one. Duncan, what was your purpose in getting me out on your HOH week?
So I kind of had I already had a connection with Blake, and I had rough connections with Anthony through Shoy, basically. So I had to pick one side to go after. I didn't want to piss off both sides, so I figured I'd go after the stronger side, and I wasn't in your numbers anyways, so I figured make a big move, as opposed to, I don't think Lynn or Anthony would have been someone who could have won the game. I think Blake could have, but you had more people that were threats on your side. That's all.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. That's like all the questions I have. Do I do anything else?
No, you're good. You're good. Bye. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to Blake. I have to invite him by email, so give me a hot sec. Message him. Y'all, new Skype sucks. I can't. I cannot copy and paste this. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So some fun questions. Oh, never mind.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're good.
Did I do it? Okay. Hi. Okay. Shoot, I wrote stuff. Where is it? Ooh. Okay. Well, I want to say congratulations to you three, first of all. I want to say congratulations to Quill and Duncan for never being voted like what is it called? Evicted. That's fun. Why can't I hear anyone? Is someone talking? Or is it because you all muted? Never mind. Okay, so this is for everyone. Well, I was looking forward to there being Zingbot this season, and there wasn't. So, first of all, I want you all to zing me and be as harsh as you want. Like if you want to go now, you can go. Like, anyone ready to go to zing? This if you don't zing me, you're not getting my vote. Wait, why can't? Okay, wait. Are you guys talking? Can you hear me? Is no one talking?
I think we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Is someone gonna zing me? Like,
Takes more than 10 seconds.
what?
I think we're thinking. Do you have a part two?
Okay.
We're thinking.
Yeah, I'm trying to
part
use my
two.
brain.
My brain's fried right now.
Okay. Do you want just me to like move on to the personal questions now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do that. Okay, I'll do Duncan first. Duncan, I love you. I have a question for you, of course, because I love you. I think you deserve a question. Okay, I want you to tell me what you think your biggest flaw in this game was, other than being inactive for like a lot of it.
Okay. I think that my biggest flaw probably, okay, and my least favorite part of the game probably was during the Survivor week when I think it was me or Michael that were going to go home, and I put into existence the narrative that I might walk, and I think that made people not respect my game later on, because I remember PMs from Lucky during the time that we were put up together. He came to me and was like, I don't want to go home over someone that almost walked earlier in the game. And by that point, like once jury started, I was never going to walk from the game. But I knew from that point earlier on, because of that action later down the road, Lucky was not as respecting of my game at that point. And I feel that people looked at my game lower from that point on. And I think that was probably my biggest mistake, if I had to pinpoint something.
Okay, I have like another question for you.
Oh.
Okay, during one of our calls we had, you said like you just care about getting to the end and never being evicted. Like, is that still true? Like, you don't want to win?
No.
Or do you want to win?
I would like to win. I was downplaying myself. Like, I remember talking to Kate a couple of times too. Now, I don't think I could have beaten Kate, but I do think there were certain final three scenarios that I could have potentially won. Obviously not against, I don't want to say, I feel like I could have beaten a good amount of people, but not everyone, obviously.
Can you give me an example of who you could beat?
Do I have an example?
Yeah, like what final three you thought you could beat?
I feel like through like a plurality vote, I could have, this is my perspective, I thought I could have beaten like Quillen and Lynn, or I could have beaten like Anthony and Lynn. I don't think I could have beaten you. That's why I voted you out.
Okay.
And then I don't know now, in retrospect, I thought I could have beat Quill. I don't know about now, but until finale night, I thought I had at least I had a case against Quill. I didn't know if I could, but I feel like I could have proved myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll move on to Quill now. I love you so much. I'm super proud of you for making it this far. I had a question. Is what do you think Duncan and Dana did wrong in their games for me to not want to vote for them to win? That's my first question for you, so you can answer that one.
Again, I don't want to like bash anyone's game or anything. But I think with Duncan, and I know you just mentioned this, like I feel bad.
Yeah, that's why. That's like, I think it's already sort of been answered, but just the question I had.
That's okay. I mean, like with Duncan, when you did like ask to walk a couple times in the beginning phases of the game,
Mhm.
I think that would be like the main reason is
Yeah.
a big difference with Duncan's game is it seems like he was still like he was like coasting through the game. And I love Duncan. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be mean. But
Say what you need to say.
yeah, like with Duncan having asked to walk a couple times, it just and saying like his goal at the end like wasn't to win, like he just wanted to get here and never voted out, which like I understand as a runner-up. I feel like me, him, and Madison came into this game probably all with that on our minds because like in a cast of 24, I mean you don't really expect to get this far again. So I understand where he was coming from, but I think if I was a juror, that would be like probably the number one deterrent of I don't want to vote for someone to win Battle of the Seasons that wanted to leave the season early on. With Dana, I think she did play a really good game. It was
I
definitely
agree with that. Yeah.
yeah. She definitely had like her messy moments, but who doesn't? I think the one again, I think I've said this before. The one mistake I think that she made was taking me to the end over Owen. But again, I understand her reasonings behind that too. And there was pros and cons to taking either of us, but I do think that with her, presumably knowing like we both had ideas, obviously, about what we thought who some people could vote for, and with her knowing that I potentially had some locked-in votes to still take me to the end, just because she was worried about Owen being persuasive. That just shows insecurity in her own gameplay, I think, more than anything. So I think that could be read as a bad game move.
Okay. I also want you to tell me why I should vote for you other than just me liking you. Like,
Yeah. No, I get it. I think you should vote for whoever you think played the best game. And like I said before, I think me and Dana did play equally good games. I think Dana played great, and you could see how good she was playing because everyone knew her as a target. Everyone knew Dana as a threat. I think with me, I had to work around a lot of the times not being able to be around here for comps, for a lot of strategizing. Even like I missed out on so many personal calls, which are important, you know, like alliance calls that happen I couldn't be here for. So I felt like I was kind of working against a lot of different variables, and I had a lot of obstacles to overcome to get here. And I am here, you know, never voted out, never had a vote to evict me in this series before. So I think that I definitely played a game just as deserving as your vote, as Dana did.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move on to my questions for Dana now. Dana, I love you, and I do really think you played a really, really good game. Well, I do think one of your mistakes is your jury management, and you not saying out your goodbyes. I know you already explained why you didn't do that, but I would like to give you your time now to give me a goodbye right now.
Okay. So Blake, I know we had kind of a rocky road, but I'm glad that when you left the game, like we were back on talking terms and we like had Snapchat a little bit and you gave me an apartment tour. So I liked that. The reason that I evicted you in this game was because after you wanted Connor gone, it was no longer to my benefit to have you in the game at all. Like I knew that you saw me as a huge threat. You told me you saw me as a huge threat. You literally at one point said you would have preferred to have me as your coach than somebody playing the game with you. So I think that it was just too threatening. And the way I saw it from my perspective in the game was that I was the biggest threat on my side of the house and you were the biggest threat on your side of the house. And I knew that I could convince people like Quillen and Owen to keep me on my side of the house out of our friendship. And I knew that I couldn't convince you on your side of the house to keep me. And you were good at competitions, and you were much more likable than I was, literally at any point. Like, you have a great personality. And so I think for me, that really became too threatening. And I did a lot of work to make everybody think that you, Lynn, and Anthony were the biggest threats in this game, and that you guys were going to be the final three, and that none of us had a chance. So I think that's why I evicted you. But nonetheless, I do really respect the game you played. And I think that, honestly, seeing you work against me instead of for me showed me how good of a game player you really were, because that was a super risky move to make. And I honestly think that it did benefit you kind of a lot to jump ship when you did. So hoping we can be friends after this.
Okay. I also have another question for you. It's sort of the follow-up question to the me jumping ship. Okay, so if I didn't jump ship at the Connor Mathias vote, and me, you, Nicholas, and Connor were still like our foursome, when would you have went for Connor? Like, when would you have like done anything? Like, would you have went for him? Like, would you win against any of us?
Yeah, I would have definitely gone for Connor. Like, I think that's what I'm saying, is like, I can't fault people for wanting Connor out of this game. Like, at every turn I've said that. Even though he was my closest ally, I'm pretty sure he would have come for me too. Like, I don't think that we were like a final two. Probably around final 6 or final 7. I would have hoped that you guys, like you and Nicholas, also saw the benefit of getting Connor out, and I would have done what I asked of Quillen a lot of different times in this game, and I would have said, like, hey, Quillen, like, we have to vote Connor out, and Quillen probably would have done it, because that's, like, literally the trajectory of certain votes at this game. Was I would be like, I think this is in our best interest. Do you think we can get Kate on board? And Quillen would be like, yeah, I think so, and then the three of us would talk about it. So that's when I would have hoped that I could be persuasive enough to get you guys to go against Connor if you hadn't already. And I would have hoped that people like Quillen were still around that could have voted him out with us.
Okay. So that's done with all my questions. If anyone has a zing, they can zing me. If not, no one gets my vote.
I have a really bad zing.
Do it. Please do it. Like, I'm giving, like, if you zing me, no one person that zings me, you get my vote.
Okay. I'm really not funny. Like, this is not a comedy act.
Just say it.
I'm just a simple girl who's kind of stupid. Anyone else want to go first? No? Okay.
Dana will get my vote if she's the only person that zings me. I'm just saying that now.
Okay. Well, my zing is, Blake, maybe if you didn't eat so many snacks instead of real meals, you wouldn't have had to get hormone replacement in the 2nd grade to make you taller.
Oh, that was a good one. Who's next?
Well, I want to, because I don't want you to vote for Dana.
Go for it.
But I gotta think of one, because I'm also very stupid and not good on a spot, as you've probably seen. So I'm just gonna say, Blake, you have a lot in common with JC from Big Brother 19. I think there's about 4.9 things similar about you, and it's your height.
Good one. Okay. Duncan, do you have one or no?
I can. Oh, it's so bad, but whatever. Blake, what does your final 3, well, I don't know if it's your final 3, what does your trio and Ore and Battle of the Seasons have in common?
What?
No one likes the person whose name starts with A. They didn't talk to anybody, and you were evicted first.
Okay, I like that one because it's gameplay. Okay, well, thank you for your time. And I just want to make a public service announcement. Everyone in this game, I have no hard beef with anyone in here besides one person, and that's Nathan, and I really, really don't like you. So yeah, that's it. Everyone else, like, I have, like, no problem with, like, no one else. Just Nathan. So that's my public service announcement. Everyone else, love you. But that's it. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Blake.
Are we gonna get the tea?
Can I run to the bathroom super quickly?
Yeah, well, can you just... Oh, okay, yeah, go to the bathroom. Well,
Please.
okay, fine. Okay, so just to recap what we have left, we have a speech from Anthony that I'm going to read. I don't think it has questions in it, but I'll read it anyways for him. And then we have Kate, and then we'll finish up with Owen, and then we'll do closing statements. We'll be done with this, and then we'll do a jury roundtable, and then fingers crossed, hopefully a winner revealed tonight, and put this bitch to bed. Yeah.
I never got to say what my favorite part of the season was. And I would probably be during when we were on the Nicholas tribe and we got Caitlin to do the promo for next season.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, notice how 2 people from the Nicholas tribe are in the final 3?
Yes.
Notice how the most important person from the Julia tribe
Are you
is
supposed to be in
here.
the bathroom, Dana?
I just went to the bathroom, Nicholas.
I was
It's right there.
Did you use Duramax instead of washing your hands?
No, I washed my hands. I went super quick.
Got it.
Drag her.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I apologize in advance. I have this like weird ass cough that I can't shake. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. This is from Anthony. This is his statement speech. Here we go. Hey everyone, it's me, Anthony. I'm not going to be joining this call since I've already voted and deleted Skype, but I've given these words for a host just as a statement towards the final 3. Quillen, I know I was very bitter as I was leaving about getting 7th again, and I was really kind of just upset that night because I had choked away the last comp when I needed to tie the records right at the finish line and kind of lashed out just out of feeling defeated. I'm sorry for that. Anyways, your goodbye message to me was really nice, and I really couldn't be mad at you anymore after watching it. You managed me properly as well as you could have as a juror because I'm not exactly pissed off at you anymore. Dana, I'm incredibly impressed by your ability to come in with probably the biggest target on your back and make it to the end. I personally was going to put up you and Quill if I won any HOH after Battle of the Block ended, and I thought it was insane how nobody had the balls to put up such an obvious pair together. However, you really made no effort to manage my jury vote. I deleted Skype after Final 4 HOH was announced, and I still hadn't gotten a goodbye message from you. You semi-personally attacked me during Nicholas's eviction, implying there was nothing interesting about me outside my last name not actually being Eats. Despite me being nothing but nice to you in the game and doing nothing to prompt you to attack me. You made a meme making fun of me, which I know you said it was because you liked me, but it still didn't feel like it, and it really made me feel uncomfortable in the game. Speaking of making me uncomfortable, there was a round where I joined a house call and you put me on the spot, basically asking me to use the veto on you if I wanted veto when it made 0 sense for my game to use it on you. All in all, I felt incredibly uncomfortable being in the game with you in the game, especially during the jury stage. I know I'm being a little whiny, but I can't really justify myself for voting for you when you made this game incredibly hard for me to enjoy. Duncan, I like you as a person. I think you're incredibly nice and I enjoyed talking to you when we talked. I'm sorry for nominating you early on without notifying you. However, I can't really justify voting for you. You were somehow less active than me, which is hard to do in this game. In the end, however, I hope you don't take this personally. And for everyone, I'm sorry for not being as active as I wish I could have. You're such great competitors, and I had fun playing this game. I wish all of you well, and I hope y'all had fun. So that's his statement. I'm going to go ahead and send the join link to Kate. She will be our next juror. And then following her will be Owen, and then we'll go on to closing statements. So we're almost there, guys.
I'm kind of surprised how tame this finale is, because usually at least one person like starts going off on somebody, and it hasn't been ugly yet. So good job, jury.
I'm so nervous. I broke a makeup brush. I'm like fidgeting with shit.
I'm like half a wine bottle in.
I'm gonna get so drunk. Ooh.
I can't believe this game is almost over. Like, it's been going on for so long. Even though it's not the length of a full season. Like, how did you guys think that this game, like, did it feel like 3 years to you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did it feel longer than your OG season?
Yeah, there's just more weeks that we had to get through. So,
yeah.
Dana, no?
You know, it felt like it went on for half of my lifetime.
Unova went by like this for me.
At the end of Unova, though, like the last, like starting at like final 7, it was like dragging. But like I still feel like this felt, I don't know, Unova did feel long at the end.
You know what really took long? Monopoly.
Stop. I was so sad. My Wi-Fi died in the computer. I had to take over.
Can we still play Clue one day? Because I want to hear it. Yeah.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties here.
Yes.
Okay. I have to add Kate by email. 1 sec. Whew. All right, this should work. Okay.
Fiesta's here. Hi Dana, hi Quill. But I only have a question for Duncan. Shit, I didn't think of one.
No, I was like, where is that coming from? Hi Trixie.
It's Fiesta.
Fiesta.
What is your least? No. I'm not a juror. I'm gonna get out of here.
Bye.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for coming. That was great.
I have a gift for you.
It better be alcohol.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you see me?
Hi, Kate. You need to turn on your cam.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I've never used this like app before. How do I even turn my? Oh. Yeah, I hear you. You're on my laptop as well. Okay, camera.
Is she alive?
Kate, are you still here?
Hey. Can you see me?
No.
Okay, like this is annoying. And Dana left a call.
No, she's here. Okay, yeah, we see you. You're good.
Yay!
Go ahead.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm holding on my iPhone. And also, let me meet you on here. Okay. Okay. So I have everything written out because I'm like in the wine, as y'all know. Okay, is Dana here? I'll make sure everybody's here. Yeah? Okay. So, first of all, congratulations of 3 of my favorite people being in the final 3. Like, seriously. Good job. Okay, so here's my questions. Duncan, you and I connected more than probably most people know during the season on a personal level. I can walk around for this question. But you asked to get it during Shoaib's week and also asked to, like, you mentioned walking like a bunch of times. So my question is, was any of that strategic or were you that kind of flop? Go ahead.
During the Shoaib week thing, I knew even if I asked, I wouldn't get evicted. During the Michael thing, I'll admit, during the Michael thing, Survivor Week, that was me gauging because I didn't have a lot of time. That's why I wasn't very active to play this game. So that was, honestly, I was ready to go at that point in time. But am I still here? Okay. But during the Shoaib vote, I knew that I wasn't going anyways. I don't know. I don't think it was like strategic thing to make me get better with the rest. But it made me on good terms with everyone in the house because I kind of accepted it that I was getting evicted by like Lab 2.0. Yeah, the second one, I knew I wasn't going the second time, but the first time, Michael think that wasn't strategy. I think she died, but woo.
Okay.
Can anyone hear me if I talk?
Yeah, you're
Hello?
good. Kate, are you here? Okay. Pause on that. I'm going to figure it out. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Can you
Okay,
hear
hi.
me? Okay. I jumped on my laptop. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I did not hear Duncan's answer though. Can you summarize real quick for me?
I basically said the Michael week, that wasn't a strategy, but the Shoaib vote, I knew I wasn't going home anyways. And I don't know if that was really strategy, but
Yeah.
not really like, it didn't really benefit me, but I knew I wasn't going to go home anyways. And Shoaib wanted to stay really badly. Yeah.
Okay, but why ask to be evicted? Why do that? When so many people are like putting their heart and soul in this game, why ask to be evicted? Because I asked to be renowned week 3. I never asked to be evicted.
I think like it wasn't really strategy. I didn't think it would happen anyways, and it didn't. I feel like Shoaib had already made himself like his game was bigger than mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured at the end he'd have more of like a show to put on than this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
And so my last question for you, 'cause I love you as a person so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
I love you. If you could replace one of your final 3 with somebody from jury, who would you replace and with who would you replace them?
I would replace Dana with you, and like I shit you not, because after Shoaib left, I would replace Dana with you.
Mm-hmm. But I would have beat you. So.
Huh?
I would have beat you. Why would you replace her with me?
Because I do want to win. I didn't know I was gonna lose to you towards as we got further along, and after hearing more stuff from tonight, I feel like I would have. But I would have rather lost. I hope it doesn't sound mean. I would have rather lost to you than to Dana or Quill, because I did connect. You're the person in this game that I talk to the most about my life, like on a personal level. And
I didn't know my camera was on. Sorry.
I love the shit out of you. And if I had to lose, I wouldn't hate losing to you, and I'd be happy to see you win, like as a friend. And we did go through a lot of BS together, so I'd be happy for you if you won.
Yeah, we sure did. Okay. Well, good luck, honey. And congrats for being one of only 2 people to never be evicted from the series.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. Quillen. Okay. I love you. You're my family, but I have some questions for you. I'm not going to like throw you some like softballs because you deserve these questions. So where Dana fails, in my opinion, you succeed, and vice versa. Your games were polar opposites. You had impeccable jury management. You left jurors feeling great about you, even those who never connected with you, as much as they may have felt they connected with Dana early on. But jurors failed to see what your overall strategy was and how you ensured that you got to the final 3. So I want to know what your moves were that you made to get to where you're at. Yeah, and how you played a game where you didn't have to be so in your face with your strategy, but still managed to get to being the only other person not evicted from the season. Yeah, explain.
So I feel like I've touched on this a couple times already.
Yeah, I haven't listened. I've been talking to Lockie.
But So I just, I'll just like briefly go over it again. My strategy was to make sure that I had my bases covered, and that I was
covered though.
What's that? I by being aligned or aligned with someone who was aligned with pretty much everyone in the game at some point, I made sure that I had close relationships with people, and if I didn't have a close relationship with someone, that there was someone that I did have a close relationship with, that they would have enough influence to keep me safe. And that left options open for me to flip between sides whenever I needed to. You know, like with the sides, like there was a definite like Blake, Lynn, Anthony versus Dana, Connor, Nicholas situation. And I feel like as that boiled down, you know, I like easily left Dana, Connor, Nicholas aside and wanted to work more with Blake, or like was able to like curry favor, whatever, like get trust with Blake, and flip back and sides. And then by evicting you, I was able to regain the trust of Dana and Owen. So, you know, I played like a rat, but like I was born in '96, the year of the rat, and like that's just me.
Okay, so other than me and Dana, on both sides, different sides of the house, and who you've had both of us having your back and keeping you protected, if I'm honest, what did you do separate from what me and Dana did to keep yourself safe in this game? Through me, you had Lockie. Through Dana, you had Connor and potentially Blake and maybe Matthias at a point. But what did you do separate from me and Dana protecting you to protect yourself?
I mean, I set up those allies. Like, I had you guys protecting me, but that was through our relationships. And then during Duncan's HOH, that was a pivotal moment for me, because I think I did have potential to go home. I don't know if I was renommed, if I 100% would have, but I had potential to. And I called Duncan. I, like, last minute before, you know, the renom was going to happen, convinced him to keep me safe, made a new ally in Duncan, and like kept myself off the block. I feel like I genuinely was a chameleon with my allies. Yeah, and I made moves. I mean, I'm the vote that sent you home.
Yeah. So should my vote like help you win? Hello. So that's all I have for you.
Okay.
I'm really annoyed. Okay, Dana. I am so annoyed at you for a few reasons. One, we talked about not assuming anything about each other this season, and you assumed that I was voting for Quill because she's my family. You also assumed that Lockie was voting for Quill because of me. I can tell you, you're wrong. Okay. So before I get to my question, I also want to like address the statement that Nicholas made about how jurors like are discrediting the game because like how your game was close to perfect and we feel like a certain way. I will tell you that your lack of jury management actually played a bigger role in this game than you think. I expected a message from you, especially after all the shit we'd gone through together. I know Lockie, Anthony, Blake, Lynn, they all expected one, but me personally, that's who I care about. I was very offended that you didn't send me one because you and I have been through so much shit from day one. That being said, your game was phenomenal. And I think you're one of the best players I've ever played with. I think you're one of the best I'll ever play with. And I want you to know that I acknowledge that. And just because Quill's my family does not take away from the fact that I want the best player to win this season because I put my heart and soul in the season from day one. Okay. My question for you is this, and it's a personal one. I know that's shitty, but it's the only thing I can ask you because like everyone's asked you all my questions. Since I arrived in jury, I heard that you had made really disgusting personal comments about me. I don't care about the evict like Kate memes and shit, but you said things like I should play with people my own age, which would leave Gloria and no fucking thank you.
but it comes across as kind of petty and hateful. So my question was, like, why was that a necessary part of your game to alienate people like me, like Lockie, like Anthony, when you really didn't have to, because some of us had your back. Like, I promise you, you'll see in the DRs, I had your back. So, like, why the personal attacks? That's my first question for you.
So I guess, like, I'll take this opportunity to apologize. I don't specifically recall making that remark. I've said stuff that crossed the line. 1001%. Like, I have said stuff that crossed the line, and I know that we've had this conversation a couple of times. I also feel like you've said stuff that crossed the line for me, and like, obviously I crossed the line with Anthony. Those aren't things that I realized I was doing. Like, I have a super bitchy brain
ever. None of us in jury have ever said anything like that against you. Like, not personally. We talked about.
Okay. Well, again, what I'm gonna say is, like, I don't remember making that specific comment. Okay. I probably did. I'm not gonna, like, I am not one to be like, oh, I don't remember, like, whatever, I didn't say it. Probably did say it. I think that I do need to be more aware of, like, if stuff I'm saying is coming off in, like, a hateful or unfriendly way, because, like, I am just really bitchy, and, like, I don't mean it in a personal way, like, I don't, but I also think that, like, one thing, like, while I'm owning up and taking responsibility for some of the things I've said that hurt people's feelings, I think that, like, there were a couple things this season on a lot of people's, like, plates that crossed the line, and I think that I'm here saying that I'm sorry for that, and I've apologized to other people who have heard that I said bitchy stuff, and so, like, yeah, I said it. Like, I will own up to making any remark even if I don't remember it, because, like, I don't think at, like, my core I'm a bad person. I think that I just want, like, I want to set the record straight that, like, if I said something that came off too bitchy, like, I was hoping, like, I want to be called out for that. So, like, you're taking this form to call me out for it, but if I'm saying something to a friend, somebody I feel like they'll know where I'm coming from, and I cross the line, I want my friends to call me out, because I know that I do that when I feel uncomfortable with something a friend says. So, like, 100%, like, I'll own it.
Okay.
Like,
your game strategically was brilliant. I have nothing to say to you about, like, what you could have done differently. I think you played a masterful game. And I'm very proud of you for playing the game you played. I didn't expect anything less from you, to be honest. So I don't know what other questions I have. Lockie wanted me to address the Nicholas statement about, like, jury, like, being, like, discrediting the host by voting to a big, but, like, jury can feel how they feel. And, like, a lot of people do feel like the lack of goodbye messages was kind of like a slap in the face, almost like, you know, we don't need to vote for you. But, like, I can tell you, your goodbye messages you would have gotten a few more votes tonight if you had.
Can I address that, or do you not want me to? Like, I said, do you want me to address that, or, like?
Yeah, I never heard earlier. I think somebody asked you that, but I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I think on top of what I already said about, like, I literally just got busy, and, like, this game, like, really fell by the wayside. Like, I know I've talked to you a little bit about, like, I had some, like actual serious stuff that would have made me leave this game going on. And I am on top, and I started grad school.
Yeah.
Right. But, like, that's not important, because, like, I understand that, like, I would want a jury goodbye message, like, if I was on the jury. So, like, I think that that's fair to be upset about that. If anybody has questions about why I evicted them, like, this is a perfect forum to ask about it. I think that jury goodbye messages are super important, and if that's the only reason that, like, people don't want to vote for me, then that's perfectly acceptable. I can't say anything to put a jury goodbye message, like, in your lap when you wanted it. After I failed to send ones like Lockie and Matthias, and that window of opportunity had passed, I felt wrong sending them to other people, because I didn't, like, for me, like, I don't dislike anybody from this game, and I thought that would have been, like, rude. Sorry, what?
But some people play closely with you versus others who maybe didn't have that connection.
Right. So I understand that. Like, I just didn't want to do anything to, like, further damage other relationships that, like, maybe weren't as strong, because, like, I don't think, like, I couldn't go back and send those people jury goodbye messages. Like, I asked at one point, like, can I send these people messages? Yeah. Nicholas said no. So then I just was like, I might as well not send any. And, like, that's a poor excuse as well. But I think that, like, for me, I I'm not going to be able to be the most social or like set you up to think that we had a great relationship if we didn't in a goodbye message. Like, that's not the game I'm playing. Like, I'm playing straight up strategy, straight up I was persuasive during the game. And that's like what I'm putting my money on. And if that doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that's like all I have to offer.
But why did you assume that Lockie and our vote was for Quill? That's kind of insulting.
Because Quillen told me that. Like, Quillen told me that, and like I trust Quillen as a friend, which is why I just assumed. And like, you're right. We agreed not to make assumptions, so I shouldn't have made that assumption. But I don't feel that bad about it when my friend says, I know I have 2 locked jury votes. Kate has told me I have her vote. And like,
really?
For me, like, that felt like a lot of evidence to the contrary of making assumptions, because it felt like a very informed, educated assumption. I'm being told I don't have your vote, even though we had discussed that you appreciated my game and that I appreciated your game and thought you were going to win.
And
so,
Dana,
like,
do you not know how much I put into this game? Do you not think that I want the best winner, like the person who I think played the best game?
I do think you do, and I trust you because I know you have a track record of voting for who you think played the best game.
That's right.
Right. Like, I know you voted for Emily, who you didn't like that much because she played a better game.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. I just think that, like, for me, this was more of like I'm being told a fact, not making an assumption. But facts aren't always true, as we know. So, like, that's fair. Like, you came here and changed my mind. Maybe I do have a shot at getting your vote. Like,
yeah. Okay, and one question, because I know that you were asked it, but I was like, I didn't hear. You brought Quill into the finals with you, despite knowing that would split the jury vote. Maybe not that much, but like that you'd lose a few votes to Quill. Right. So why did you do that when Quill cut you from Unova?
Well, I think 2 things. So I'm trying to make this a little different than last time I answered it. If you don't want me to make assumptions about how people are going to vote, going into deciding to take Quillen to the finals, Quillen had just told me at that very moment that he had you and Lockie's votes on lock. And like, Owen had also told me that like he felt like he had Shoaib and Anthony and Lynn as like people who really like trusted him. So I was kind of looking at it and like, I either don't get these votes or I don't get these votes. Which ones do I think I have a better chance at getting? Yeah. And for me, I felt like the person who had 3 people who I had no relationship with versus the person I had 2 people who I had a rocky relationship with, I felt like I could be more persuasive to those people. More importantly, I knew that putting Owen on jury was putting a very like rational, like even-tempered person who I thought would vote for me on the jury. And also giving me the ability to highlight what I'm best at, which is being persuasive. And I think you know that. Yeah. So like there's a certain point where I can't make up for my shortcomings. I couldn't go back and send jury messages at the Final Four, but I could make myself stand out as the most persuasive person at the end of this game. And I had to take that and run with it. And I had to run the numbers. And for me, that was why it seemed smart. And I think that there's drawbacks to taking both. Ideally, I wouldn't have had either. Like,
I can tell you that Owen has a lot fewer votes than Quill if you had taken Quill.
Right. And that's fine. Like, I think that part of this game, and I've said this to you before, is that like you're purposefully operating with not all of the information. And for me, I didn't think that I had any way to get Shoaib, Lynn, Anthony, or Blake, I'll even toss Blake in there, over Owen.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought, like, I didn't think that I had a chance to get those votes if Owen was sitting at the end. And I think if Quillen's sitting at the end, I think Anthony told me he thought I played a good game at one point. Blake told me he thought I was playing a good game at one point. Shoaib told me he thought I was playing a good game at one point. And I know all 3 of them would have nominated me. So hopefully if I'm sitting at the end, not against their good friend, they'll vote for me.
Yeah. I can tell you they have a definite couple of guaranteed votes. And then some that you overlook a little bit, but you actually helped me tonight with your answers, so thank you. And I know I've taken a lot of your time, but like one more question for you, and that's concerning Quill.
Can I pipe in real quick about the last thing?
Yeah, I want to know what you knew about her evicting me and what your plan was for the night of my eviction, as to whether you're going to evict me or whether you're going to evict Duncan.
Okay.
Sure.
So,
yeah, you talk first, and then I'll answer.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk first?
Yeah, I just wanted to pipe in, just because I feel like things got a little bit twisted there, because you made it sound like I was being like, oh, like, I have Lockie and Kate's vote, when really what I was doing was trying to be like, the only votes I'm gonna get are Kate and Lockie. I'm only gonna get these 2 votes is what I was doing. Like, I wasn't trying to be like, oh, I'm getting these votes. I was putting it to you in a way that it made sense for you to take me, because the only 2 votes I could get were Kate and Lockie's. It was not, oh, I'm gonna get them.
Right.
And I feel like it was twisted, and like
it's insulting to the 2 of us, though, because like we voted differently in Alola. We'll probably vote differently this season. We just vote for who we feel is the best player.
I think, like, for me, the way, like, literally verbatim what Quillen said was, I also know I more than likely have 2 locked votes on jury, so I get it. Like, you used the words locked votes, which freaked me out. Like, and, like, you were, at that point, like, playing on, like, what you knew I was already insecure about. And so credit to you because it worked. But also I think that I knew what I was doing going into that night prior to that. Like, I had already thought through numbers wise for me what I thought made sense. And like Quill and I had talked about that on call because Quill had already told me that he was evicting me.
So how close do you think the vote's going to be tonight?
I think it could be really close. I think that Quillen has a really good shot at beating me tonight. And like, I will be super happy, like, as Quillen's friend to see him win. Like, I will genuinely be really, really happy.
What do you think, Quill?
I think it's going to be close. I feel the same way. I think it's going to be a close vote. I think Dana has an excellent shot at winning. And I'll be happy for her too. I think we both played a great game.
I can tell that you both have an excellent shot at winning. It's pretty exciting. Okay, so back to me and my eviction night, which never answered the question. Yeah. So what do you both know about that? And what was the strategy behind voting me? And who was like, were you both like set against like keeping me? Actually, I'll start with Dana.
Sure. So that night was super tricky because like I was literally drunk at a bar with a group of 15 friends. So like I was like in and out. I didn't PM like hardly anybody the whole night. For me, I would argue that I was in the power position in that vote. I had the option to send Quillen home by leaving him on the block. And for me, it was a matter of, will Quillen have my back more moving forward, or will Kate have my back moving forward? And I knew that if you were gone from the game, that Quillen had my back. So Quillen and I had a deal that if I took him off the block with the POV, that he had to evict you. Like, that was what Quillen said to me, and I took him off the block under those pretenses because obviously, like, I knew that we weren't going to go to the final 3 together. Like, I didn't think we were going to go against each other, but, like, I knew something was going to happen where the 3 of us weren't sitting here, and I was the one going home. So I did what I could to keep the people who I knew, like, really needed me in the game, keep them in the game. And I don't think that you needed me. Like, I really, really don't think that you needed me.
Maybe, but
like, that night, yes. But, like, I don't think that in the game, like, you needed me.
Right.
I think you know that. Like, you had connections that I did not have. Yeah. And so basically what happened was, like, you were up on the block against Duncan. And for me, there was literally no reason for Duncan to go home. Like, but you, like, I told you I thought you were going to win this game. And at that point, when you're that close to the end at Final 6, I said earlier I would have taken Connor out at Final 6. I thought that you were in a similar position as Connor at that point, and I had to also want to take you out at Final 6.
Okay.
Did I want to be, like, I ended up being the swing vote, and I was trying to get information from Lynn and Quill, like, what's happening, who are you guys voting, and I changed my vote back to you last minute after initially voting you, because I didn't want to be the only person voting to evict you if Quillen and Lynn weren't also evicting you, because that wouldn't have been good for me. But on top of that, like, I did want you to go home at that point.
Okay.
And I think that it's because I thought you're a threat to win, and because I think, in my opinion, the smartest time to take out the biggest threat to win is at Final 6. Even if it's an ally, even if there's somebody who you love, you have to vote them out at that point.
Okay, thank you. Quill?
Yeah, so what do you want to know? How much I knew?
Why you evicted me that night and didn't keep me when you knew that I was a number to, like, be on your side.
Okay, well, at that point where it was Final 6, as much as I love you, because you know how much I love you, it made absolutely no sense for me to keep you when you were against Duncan. You 100% were going to beat me in the end of this game. As much as I would have liked, I said this before earlier in this call, as much as I would have liked to be at the end with you and to have seen you win, I wanted to win this game more than see that happen. I love Duncan, and I honestly did believe, and still do, no offense, that I was going to be able to beat Duncan. My dream final three was going to be me, Duncan, and Lynn. Those were the three people I wanted to be at the end of this game. With you on the block, it was a way to take you out as a threat, keep Duncan, and also repair my bond with Dana and Owen. I made a deal with Owen that vote too, not just Dana. So I made a deal with Owen that I would vote to evict you to gain trust with Owen. So it wasn't just about like getting back with Dana. It was, again, to make sure that I was covered moving forward for the rest of the weeks.
But as much as the season that you told me that you'd like love me to win, if you
I would have loved you to win, but I would have loved myself to win more. I do love you, but selfishly, I'm gonna.
But you stick with Dana to the end, and you think you're gonna win.
I didn't take Dana to the end. I full on wanted
Dana
to cut
before though. Like you had opportunities before to like even think about cutting her, and did you do it? I don't know.
But when?
I mean, at any point in time in the game, did you ever think of cutting her?
It wasn't. There was never a right time to cut Dana before this. The same reason there was never a right time to cut you before Final Six. That was the first and only time that it made sense to cut you. Just like at Final Four was the first time for me. For you, I can see there being other times where it would have made sense to cut Dana. For me, Final Four was the first time that it made sense for me to cut Dana. And unfortunately, I lost that competition and couldn't do it. I would love to be sitting up here with Owen and Duncan. Again, no offense to Dana, but that just
it makes sense.
Wasn't able to happen.
Do you understand how? Actually, both of you should understand how betrayed I feel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm going for the. I mean, I played the best game. I love you both, and Dana, you should never assume anything. So that's my questions. Good luck to both of you.
Okay.
Actually, all of you, Duncan. Sorry. Hey. But yeah, don't make assumptions. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Kate.
I can't shut this off. I have no idea.
I can kick you out. All right. Thanks. Okay. So I know everyone wants us to end ASAP, but Lynn actually sent a question. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna pick up the pace. We're gonna do double time, ladies. So this is from Lynn. The first question is for Duncan. So she said, okay, so like Duncan, I'm gonna get to you first. I had like no questions at the beginning of this, but after listening to you saying you could have beat me in the end, I want to know why you say that. And since you truly seem to believe that I want to know why you voted me out in the end. Did you not want to or care about winning? Floor is yours.
Okay, so during the final five vote, so it was me and Cool voting. Owen was me and Cool voting. Dana was HOH, and then Owen and you were on the block, or Owen and Lynn were on the block. Apparently, Cool made a deal with Dana not to vote out Owen, and if I would have voted to keep you and Cole would have voted to evict you, then Dana was HOH. Dana would have voted to evict you. That's based off of what I know, or what I was told. So it didn't make any sense for me to put myself in the position where it was 3 versus 1, or like I was in the minority of the final 4. So that's why I did that on that vote. During what's the other part? Why do I think I could have beaten you? I feel like, no, I wasn't super duper active, but but I think that I had some better relationships with people on the jury than you. Now, I don't think I would have gotten like Anthony or Blake's votes, duh. But like, I feel like I could have gotten like Troy Matthias's and potentially Owens and a couple more if it was me against you in the end. Yeah. And I had to work with what I got. That's
okay.
it.
Thanks. So now we're going to go on to Dana. This is Lynn's question to Dana. Dana, like I know it's been brought up You had no jury management, which is T, and it's such an important part of this game. And my question is just like everyone is saying, beating me in the end was just going to be a sure thing. So why did you want me gone at Final 5 when you knew you could have beat me and probably would have easily done that?
Sure. So I think that that's an important point because, like, yeah, sure, it would have been better for Quill or Owen to go, like, on terms of jury votes, like, definitely. But I had hoped, based on, like, Quillen and Owen are both two of my, like, best friends in the community. Like, they're people I talk to every single day. So 2 things based on that. 1, if I can't win this game, I want to see one of the 2 of them win. That is something at the forefront of my mind. That's why I played to Final 3 in Unova with Trixie and Quillen, who I knew would take each other to Final 2 over me. Like, as much as, like, I've definitely offended people this season, like, I also do think that, like, I have been compassionate through that. Like, I wanted to see my friends do well. But the second thing on top of that is that in terms of, like, if I didn't win Final 4 veto, I thought it was incredibly unlikely that I would go to the end no matter what. But if I'm going to go to the end, my best chance is to either convince Quillen or Owen to take me to the end, just on, like, a pure friendship level. Like, not on, like, a you're going to win this game, but, like, on a you might not win this game anyway. Why don't you take somebody who you'd be equally as happy to see win? And so for me, I didn't have that relationship with you where you could have ever, like, conceivably have imagined taking me to the end. And I thought with Owen and Quillen, like, maybe on just, like, a friend level, I could, like, pull something off because, like, it was going to be incredibly difficult for me to vote either of them out, and I'm hoping that they feel the same way. Like, I know that that definitely did factor into, like, how Quillen played Unova, and so I was hoping that there would be some sort of reciprocity here, even though, like, we discussed it and there wouldn't have been. So that was why I decided to vote you out.
Okay, thank you, Dana. So the rest is just kind of a statement, so I'll read it really quickly. Lynn said, I ran out of time because I'm typing these during Kate's, but I feel like anything I was wondering about was already asked because you gave me an answer to everything I personally would have asked. In a goodbye video, those are pretty important, huh, at Dana. But I wish you all very good luck, moi. So now we're at our final juror, and that's Owen. I'm about to send him the link, and then he'll be here. We'll do Owen, and then we'll do closing statements, and then we'll be done, finally. Woo. Thanks to everyone who's watched this from, like, an hour and a half ago to now. Okay, yay, Owen's here. Go ahead.
The 3 of you know I love you. I think hearing all these jury things, you kind of know where you stand with the jury right now. So I just wanted to say, regardless of what happens tonight, you should be proud of yourself for making it here. It's easy to get so caught up in your head when people are yelling at you and asking you questions and shit like that. But at the end of the day, you know it's just a game. Whoever wins, I hope all 3 of you can be happy with what happened. And you all did your best. So just take a deep breath before your closing statements. Get your thoughts together. And good luck. I love you guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Owen. All right. So now we're at closing statements. As we said before this video, we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order. You have about 2 to 3 minutes to say your final plea as to why your jurors should vote for you to win this game. Quill, you're up first.
All right. I hate being put on the spot so much. I just wanted to thank Nicholas and Julia for choosing to host me again. I know I was probably a handful a couple weeks. And I just had a lot of fun this season with everyone. No matter what happens tonight, I'm going to be happy. I love everyone. I had such a fun time playing this game and getting to know everyone. I'm excited for the reunion chat, and I hope it stays active. I mean, maybe not with all 24 of us, though. Like, maybe let's, like, let some of them leave. And sorry. Yeah, so I just hope that you can see the game that I played, and that although I may not have been as visually threatening as Dana had been throughout the entire game, I still played really well. I think that I played a game just as good as Dana did, and I hope that I, gave you all some insight on it, so that you can see where I'm coming from and what moves I made. Yeah, vote for me if you want a pretty girl to win. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Quill. Duncan, you're up next.
Okay. If you're even considering voting for me, I would be very appreciative. I hope even regardless of how you vote, you can see how the merit of all of our games and how differently we all played and what we all had to come through and get through. And I don't think adverse is a verb. So whatever the verb for adversity is to get here. I hope you can understand and appreciate all of our games. Even 1 or 2 votes, I'd say thank you. I just want to say, Colin already said thank you, but thank you again for Nicholas and Julia, right, for bringing me back. I thought I would kill myself this time because I wanted to the first time, and this was more intense, but I didn't. I actually had a really great time. I'm really grateful for deciding to come back. I think that we have a really great cast. I'm really happy. One of the things that I really look forward to, because even if you don't vote for me, I got to meet a lot of new people in this game and make a lot of new connections. Dana and I were already on pretty good terms. I did not know who the hell Kate was before this game. Love Kate. I wasn't on good terms with Colin. Like, we were like acquaintances, but like now we're friends, and I really love that fact. And just getting to meet a lot of people, except for Nathan. I really love a lot of you guys. And thank you for playing this game with me. Yeah.
Okay, Dana, you're up.
All right, so I guess my final thing that I want to say is that if you want to vote for somebody who had consistent strategy and really worked hard at every single point in this game because I couldn't afford not to, then you should vote for me tonight. I know that my biggest flaw in this game, especially as somebody who's never claimed to play a perfect game, is that I didn't manage the jury properly. So I'm taking this opportunity to say that I'm sorry for whoever I've offended. I'm happy to have conversations outside of this context with that, like with all of that. But I think that I really did appreciate playing this game with all of you. And I think things got really tough and things got really complicated and things got really stressful, personal-wise, in the game-wise. And so, no, I didn't manage the jury as well as I could have. But you can still vote for me on the strategy point of this game alone. I think that that really outshines a lot of like other aspects of this game, and that really stands out as something that I was really strong in. And I think that it's enough for me to win tonight and to earn your vote. I think that it's much harder for me to be sitting here tonight than Duncan or Quillen. I made moves in this game that allowed these two players to get here, and I don't know if they can say the same for me. I don't think that they made moves that got me here. I think I made moves that got me here, and I think that I encourage the jury to be independent-minded, and when they're thinking about the game, think about how many times you thought that I was a threat, and think about if whether or not you would feel comfortable sitting next to me here tonight, and if you wouldn't, then there's a reason for that, and I think that that should hopefully guide your vote. On top of that, I just want to say, like, I really did have a fun time playing this season. I'm sorry I'm a hot mess. I'm sorry I'm a bitch. Like, that is kind of who I am, and that's something that I'm willing to work on. Like, I'm not perfect, and I don't think that I pretend to be. So, like, I appreciate everybody being respectful to me tonight. But, like, anything else, just feel free to hit me up. I'll be around.
Okay, thank you to all 3 of our finalists. Thank you to all of our jurors, and thank you to everyone who watched this. And also, huge shout out to Julia. This season, Julia always does a lot, but this season she did so much, like, to keep this game afloat. So a huge shout out to her. But yeah, that concludes this Q&A. We're gonna go ahead and host the roundtable. If all of our jurors vote tonight, we're gonna do a winner reveal. If not, it'll be tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. So final 3, rest easy. Your part is done and your fate is in the hands of the jurors. Thank you everyone for watching. Peace out.